Welcome everyone to the League of Cinephiles, more cinema-related content. Now, it's Unfiltered, guys. It's time. We haven't done the show for about 2-3 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
Back with you. We needed to do a show today because of all the huge news that occurred over the week. Maybe some that occurred over last week. We have a ton to talk about. Movies, TV, just a ton of stuff. A ton of Oscar stuff. A ton. Guy, how are you? How was your week?
I'm doing great. Yeah, my week was good. I saw a bunch of movies. I binged Peacemaker, which was fucking awesome. It was just great. Everything was great this week. Everything was great.
Very cool, very cool. Bit of a spoiler alert for our upcoming topics, but
today,
sorry about that. But we also have a very special guest joining us today of Sully streams on YouTube and Instagram. You can check out both his channel and his Instagram down in the links below, so make sure to follow him and subscribe to his channel. But he is right here. Sully, how are you doing today on this beautiful Sunday morning?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. Really looking forward to jumping into the discussion.
Great to have you as well. Your first time on the channel. So trying to tell people what you do. I believe you started out on Instagram and then you transferred over to YouTube, or maybe it was the other way around. But what you do on Instagram and YouTube, and what kind of content that you would be bringing to everyone following you.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of channels, I was, a little bit bored during the pandemic when that all started. So I was always that kid that people were texting and calling to be like, what movie should I watch tonight? And like looking for my recommendations. I'm sure you guys kind of had that too. Yeah. So I kind of made my Instagram account first and foremost to kind of post, my weekly streaming picks of like, okay, here are the 4 major streaming services. And here's like a movie I like from each of those. So that should at least hold some people over for, a couple days until I do it the following week. So I did that for a long time and people seem to like that. So I kind of transitioned a little bit into movie reviews in addition to that. Started doing that on Instagram, then started doing some videos on YouTube. YouTube's a grind, man. Like it's, getting the time to film all those and then make sure you edit them and post them at the right time is a little bit of a grind, but I think I'm getting a little bit more of a hang of it. So pretty much that's just what I've been doing. I want to do more in 2022, like I'm sure a lot of people do. So, just progressing the channel and seeing how people like it.
Awesome. And can you tell us about any content you have planned in the future, both on YouTube and Instagram, reviews wise, and I think any videos you think you want to do in the future?
Yeah, at the very least right now, I'm still writing the scripts for it. But outside of my usual reviews, I'm going to be doing, like my top 10 favorite and my top 10 least favorite movies of 2021.
Nice.
So that'll be coming out hopefully in the next couple weeks once I get that sorted out. I actually have a couple more 2021 movies I need to see before I totally kind of lock that in. But other than that, no, I'm always looking for fresh ideas to kind of get more content out and just spark more movie discussions. So.
Awesome. Great. So again, everyone make sure to follow him on Instagram and subscribe if you haven't already. The links for those will be down in the description below. Guys, let's get to some movie news, some TV. We have a ton of stuff to talk about today. Guy, I'm sorry, going to make you wait for the TV stuff because I know that's what you wanted to talk about. But we have two big, one bigger release, one movie release that no one really cared about. But 2 releases nonetheless that we're going to be talking about today. One is, of course, Scream or Scream 5, depending on your familiarity with the franchise. But Scream 5 or just Scream, like I said, released just this week. I believe I saw it an opening night on Thursday night. I'll let you start, Sully. Are you a big fan of the Scream franchise? And I know you saw it as well. What were your thoughts, I should say, on Scream?
So I saw it Friday night. I was planning on going Thursday. I couldn't make it happen, so I went Friday. I, like a lot of horror fans, love the original. I think the 90s one is awesome. I think it came out at a great time too, where, we'd seen what Wes Craven can do with his previous horror franchise and Nightmare on Elm Street. And I think people were kind of getting sick of those sequels. And then he showed that he's still really has his finger on the pulse and dropped this awesome new horror movie in Scream.
Yeah.
I wasn't one of those people that I wouldn't call myself a Scream diehard. I wasn't a huge fan of some of the sequels after that. When it comes to the one that just released, I want to say that I thought it was pretty good. I didn't love it. I know I'm seeing some people really outpouring some love for this one, which unfortunately I just didn't feel. I've seen a couple people say that it was kind of a retread. I think it was a little bit in between. I know, they even talk about it in the movie too, about how like being meta and the requels and not like, soft reboots and whatnot.
Yeah.
If you look at it in that way, I think it's pretty good. Like if you view it as, okay, it's called Scream, not Scream 5, because it's trying to usher in like a new generation. Like this is their Scream, like this is their 90s Scream.
Yeah.
Then I totally can get behind what it was trying to do. As a fifth movie in the franchise, I like it a bit less.
Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of the franchise, which is weird to say because I actually haven't seen Screams 3 and 4. I need to see them. They're definitely on my list. But I am a fan of the whole concept behind the franchise. I think it's the whole meta thing is something that can't really be done in any other franchise, and it's something that is so specific to the Scream franchise and something where they can just beat your head over it and it would be fine because you have villains monologuing about their entire plan and how and this is not a spoiler, obviously. This is what happens in the other Scream movies, obviously. Villains, monologuing about why they're killing people and why the reasons, the thematic reasons as to why they're doing it, and the whole horror cliche stuff. That is something that only the Scream franchise can do without it becoming annoying because that's the whole reason people go into the Scream movies. I don't go into Scream for the kills like I do in, say, Friday the 13th. I go in for all the meta, the fun, the comedic aspects. And so in that sense, I enjoyed the Scream. I did not love it. I will get to the reasons why, but I did think it was much better than I thought it would be. It was much more meta than I thought. Going into the trailers, it looked too kind of cliche horror for me. It didn't look like a Scream movie, but it definitely, from the first scene of this movie, they really picked up on the meta stuff, despite the lack of Wes Craven. The meta aspects were kind of, they were modernized in a way. They talked a lot about elevated horror, which is something I found really funny considering, guys like Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, complex horror, the stuff that people are craving nowadays. And I found that commentary to be really fun. And of course, they have all the horror cliche stuff. They talk about, how to survive a horror movie. There's one character, there are twins in the movie. Sully, you remember I thought they were awesome. They were my favorite characters in the movie. For the most part, I liked the cast. I liked the people returning. However, this is where I'm going to get to my main negative because unfortunately, the thing that brought me down in this movie was the main character played by Melissa Barrera, who's also in The Heights. I did not recognize her until after the movie. Forgot it was her, but she really brought the movie down for me. I thought the character was really bad. I actually thought the performance was pretty bad as well. I don't really say that normally for a lot of actors, but her performance I thought was pretty poor. She had the same facial expression throughout the entire movie, basically, and I thought it really brought the movie down, especially because I pretty much liked every other character in the movie more. Sully, what were your thoughts on the characters in the movie and the main character like I brought up?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think she's lucky to have been able to play off Jack Quaid and David Arquette so much. I'm a huge The Boys fan, so I absolutely love Jack Quaid and want to see him in everything. So I thought they were really good as like a cushion to kind of like help her bounce off of. But I agree. I think that the performance was a little wooden and one note from her. Just touching back to an earlier point you said too, though, about enjoying how meta Scream is, and Scream has that kind of unique opportunity to be that meta.
Yeah.
I think I might actually add additional points to this movie because you see meta kind of done correctly, whereas we just had a movie last month in Matrix Resurrections that did meta, I think, almost terribly. So I think just seeing that kind of navigated in a more correct way gives me a little bit extra hope for the future of the franchise without Wes Craven. So
I agree. And I thought it was really funny too. There are a couple scenes that made me laugh out loud. A couple characters who I really liked, a couple unique kills. Overall, not as good as the original, but still a fun time at the movies. The first, I guess, it's a January release. We don't usually get good movies in January, so it's good that we actually got one here. And I wish the best for the continuing of the Scream franchise, and I hope that they continue to succeed because this is a win in my books. Guy, real quick, is there anything you want to say? I know you haven't watched the Scream movies, but
I mean, I take everything that these people say very seriously, and I think you should too.
Awesome. Thank you for the input, Guy. And now we will go to another quote-unquote big release that just came out, the 355, starring Penelope Cruz, Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o. Diane Kruger, and more. This movie the trailer was playing for basically every movie I have seen over the last like 3 months, and I will confess I did not see it. Did you guys see this movie?
No, this one has been this one's been very low on the list right.
It's skipped past.
I mean, it's
all
one of
three
those
of us.
things
How could
where
it?
I saw the
one of those
Tender Bar
things.
this week. I saw that.
I kind of like
that
the
was
Tender
I
Bar.
like that one. That was good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you just said, like January release kept getting pushed back. Like, every time the ads came on, I pretty much rolled my eyes, which is unfortunate because this is like a stacked cast when you look at it.
True, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, let's be honest. I see everything, so I'm sure I'll watch it at some point. But no, it's not very high on the list right now, unfortunately.
No, Jessica Chastain has been doing this kind of. She's moved over to action movies as of recently. She had that Ava movie, which is like
right.
I'm surprised if you would know what that movie is because it's like every spy movie. Like it seems like every female spy movie that comes out nowadays looks like Ava. You also have that movie, I think it's called Anna or something. Atomic Blonde was, I guess, the good one.
Yes.
But I did not see this movie because it looked terrible, like you said.
Yeah.
I saw the trailers for every movie I went into for like the last 2 months, and nobody in the theater liked the trailers. At least I think. And this was not on my list. Again, Jessica Chastain was also in X-Men Dark Phoenix. That didn't go so well. Hopefully she can get back on her feet because she is a tremendous actress.
Yeah.
But this, I hope I just didn't see this movie because I know I hate it. I would hate it. So I'm sparing myself and I'm sparing the filmmakers the kind of
diss. The wicked Alex Helmer diss.
It's better for them if I don't see it. It looks so awful.
Yeah.
And it bombed at the box office. It did really bad.
I heard it did really badly, like on a level.
I mean, I don't understand why they thought it might do well. I mean, maybe even if it was good, I don't think people would have seen this movie.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that it wasn't a like double in theater and streaming at home release at the same time. I was pretty shocked that they didn't do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. But those are our big movie kind of releases that came out over the last week. Let us know if there's any other movie release that we might have missed. I doubt it. But if there's anything else that released over the past week that you've seen, so make sure to let us know in the comments below. Now, we're going to go over to TV now, where a couple bigger releases we're going to be talking about. Number one is let's go with Peacemaker first. Let's go Peacemaker. Peacemaker, the first 3 episodes dropped this week on HBO Max, directed and written by the great James Gunn, starring, of course, John Cena and more. Guy, I'll go to you first. What did you think of the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker?
Guy's hyped up.
I loved it.
He's hyped up.
Oh my God. I loved this show. Yeah, I mean, I already was like super excited because I loved the movie. That was my favorite. It's tough because Spider-Man No Way Home and that movie to me were like the 2 contenders for my favorite superhero movie of this year. But this show is amazing. It is so funny and it is so brilliant. I loved it so much, and I rarely ever do this, and my sisters rarely ever let me do this. I told them to watch this with me, and they actually sat through the entire thing without looking at their phones or anything, which is usually what they do when I ask them to watch a movie with me or a TV show, because they're not interested in anything I like. So it was really amazing to me that they legitimately loved this show as much as I did, and we're watching it and we're all laughing hysterically. The intro is amazing. And I love the fact that one of the great things about James Gunn is that he really makes you excited about kind of the DC extended universe. Like his shows, and this one, even as small scale as it is, makes you excited. That around this world, there's a Batman, there's an Aquaman, there's even a Batmite. And so to me, that really blew my mind, and I loved that. I love this show. I love the fact that they added Vigilante in the show, and he's very different from the comics, but I really like what they did with him. I just cannot wait. I'm hoping I love these characters. I wouldn't mind if they added a few, cameo roles in here, but Also, Viola Davis is in it for like 5 seconds, which was also very cool. So, you know, I mean, I just love this show. I cannot say very much bad things. And John Cena is amazing. It's just incredible. So, yeah.
Sully, what were your thoughts on the first 3 episodes?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was awesome. I think if it, you know, were to end right now, it already would probably be, you know, at the top of my list of one of the things DC's ever put out. You basically just go to James Gunn if you need something done with like weird unknown characters and like have a group dynamic. Like obviously he killed Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked Suicide Squad. I didn't love it, and I already like this show more than I liked the Suicide Squad movie.
No.
I just think it just vibes more with me, and the weird tone and like just centered around a character like Peacemaker, I think just works better for me. Like he's all like 80s hair metal rock and like America, and he's like to a point where it's just ridiculous. I like the supporting cast. I mean, I just like that they finally just trusted James Gunn to be like, hey, here's a blank check, like do what you want to do. And just kind of see how his mind works. I just don't really think it's possible for him to put out a bad movie or show. And I'll pretty much watch this for as long as they keep it going. So I'm excited to see what happens with it.
I completely agree. I don't think I love it as much as you guys do because I'm still waiting for a couple more episodes. I will say, so a couple of people are calling this the best DC show. I will say, if you haven't seen Harley Quinn, that is
live action,
yeah, but animated. I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan. This is very similar to Harley Quinn. It's a similar type of comedy. Yeah. James Gunn has a very specific, a very particular type of comedy, which is really great to see. It's almost kind of random in a way. It's almost Taika Waititi-esque, where
it's lines are just very like the way it's really derives from nothing. It derives from some meaningless subject, and then it just spins like the Berenstain Bears. It just spins out of control, and it's just so funny.
Like they had one line that was so random. I have no idea why I laughed so much. It was when he talked to the neighbor, the guy's neighbor.
Oh my god!
And he's like, "Why did you?" He's used some like bogus name, and the guy's like, "Why did you use such a long name?" He's like, "I couldn't think of one on the spot," something like that.
Yeah,
it was so funny. It was so random. How does James Gunn think of that?
I've basically been describing the show to people that will listen to me as like stepbrothers with machine guns, basically. Like I just think that's the best way to like get it out there in as little words as possible.
It kind of is. Yeah. Now that I think about it, it really is stepbrothers with machine guns.
I think the support John Cena, this is my favorite role of his by far. If you haven't been sold on John Cena as an actor, and I'm sure a lot of you haven't been because he's had his ups and downs within his kind of short film career thus far. You will be sold on him in this TV show. He's been really good so far, and he's putting in a lot of effort. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's really determined, and he's put in a lot in this role. And I can tell this is a role that he really had fun with and something he really wanted to do.
He loves it because he wears the costume everywhere he goes.
Everywhere.
He was on Fallon this week. Yeah. He was wearing the costume. And it makes you feel good that like actors are really enjoying their time like doing these shows, and it really gets me happy and excited about DC again. Like whenever I see one of these James Gunn movies, it just gets me excited to be a nerd again. It gets me excited to be a geek again. It just makes me feel so good. And I just loved this show. Like it's weird. What will happen is I'll have these phases. So like when a big movie comes out, like Spider-Man, I instantly switch back to Marvel, and I'm like, like reading Marvel comics, I'm, collecting Marvel stuff. And then like all of a sudden this show just halted that. And I'm just like, this is amazing. And I blew my mind.
And there are a couple other scenes. Sorry, go ahead, Sully.
Well, what you're explaining too is like, it seems like a no-brainer, but you can't believe how long it took them to do this, is like finally letting nerds control of nerdy
exactly.
projects.
And it's nuts. I mean? At one point they didn't. Like it's just...
like actual fans of the source material putting these projects out. Like not just like tying some random big name director to it or something that like doesn't really have a connection to the comics or the source material or the community that kind of enjoys this kind of stuff. And, I'll too just say that I also endorse how good Cena is in this. Like when I've talked about like the actors, the short list of actors that have successfully gone from like wrestling to legitimate
Yeah.
acting. Like I've always said, favorite actor for me, and I think he's the best, is Batista. And but I think that Cena is really, really good in this. It's like he's right at home in this role. He clearly didn't get to do it that much in his wrestling career, but he's clearly got that like quirky, weird comedic side to him that he gets to just like fully spread his wings with in this one.
Yeah. And I really like the supporting cast as well. Cena's
so
great, but
good.
the supporting cast is really good as well. The guy who plays what's his
Economos?
name? No,
Murd?
Vigilante.
Oh,
Something about his voice is
Oh, yeah.
whenever he talks.
but
I
I
just-
love
I
the
just have a smile
costume
on my
with
face.
that voice. It really
Just-
gives me kind of a Deadpool vibe.
The
It's
first
just
scene
Yeah.
he was in.
out of like you just don't see it with
Yeah.
that suit and that
The
voice.
first scene he was
So
in, where he's at the restaurant
Let's
and
go.
he's talking to a
Peacemaker's
guy
back.
about his girlfriend. He's like, oh, I didn't know you had a girlfriend. Then why'd you set me with my set? Why did you make me set you up with my cousin? And then he's like, oh, you know, she's not really my girlfriend. He's like, then why'd you have a baby with her? He's like, oh, well, having an abortion. And then the line that comes afterwards,
You're invited. You're invited.
you're invited.
You're invited.
And the guy's
He's like, no,
I'm
dude, I'm not
invited to your
going.
abortion.
Not coming to your abortion, man. That's the way you like.
Dude,
That
but
got me.
But that's what Guy's talking about. Like it starts from a base and then it just keeps like spiraling more and more out of control.
It's
And you're just
so
like, I have
good.
no idea where this is gonna go.
And
so good.
there's also one scene involving a picture on an iPad that was so funny, specifically because of Cena's reaction to it. And what I loved also the group dynamic. Everyone feels it's a team, which is really cool. And Gunn did that really well in the Suicide Squad, where he made them all feel like a team. And all these people have such great conversations with each other, and they know each other so well because they have so much chemistry. And Jennifer Holland, who plays Amelia, she's really good.
Yeah.
Daniel Brooks, who plays Leota, she's really good.
She's
She's like my second favorite character.
Oh
And
my
then,
god! But like I love her hope, and I love the fact that she really. It's funny because you're watching her react, and like they're all talking shit about her mom, and she's just kind of like looking at him like, "Is that true?" Like it's just really so funny.
But anyways, we're gonna move on now. We love Peacemaker. Check it out if you haven't already. I'm actually not hearing a ton of buzz from it, which is weird. Like I'm seeing like reviews here and there about it, but I'm not hearing a ton of buzz coming from it. So make sure to check it out on HBO Max. As we move on to the second topic, second big TV show, we're going to talk about episode 3 of Boba Fett. I have I have a picture brought up here, but Guy, I'll go to you first.
Right.
I'll save myself for
Let's
last.
just even go back. Looking at that photo, you can tell that those were obviously there to sell toys. Those motorcycles. I'm not.
Sorry. Before you get started, what were your thoughts on episode 2, briefly, and then
how
did
we
you
didn't
go into
discuss
episode 3? Yeah.
Episode 2 was great.
Mhm.
Episode 2 was really good. Episode 3, however, was not very good to me. I personally, it was very disappointing. It felt like they just kind of rushed through the flashbacks after we had a really good episode 2, and then it went mostly into the modern. And you had that annoying guy at the mayor's office again, who I couldn't stand.
I hate that guy.
Hey, I hate that guy so much. But I think you're supposed to, so they're doing a good job.
Yeah,
so,
he
like,
sucks.
I'm kind of like, they're trying to make you hate this guy. So they're doing. I think he's in Veep, which is what was the other thing. I kept looking at his face. I was like, I know that guy. And I was like, oh my god, he plays Julia Louis-Dreyfus's ex-husband in Veep. No, but I don't know. It's weird. This show just still to me doesn't really have much of a driving force, and to me they tried to introduce one in this episode, and it was kind of flimsy at best. And it also is weird to me that Boba Fett needs to have these kids on his team. I mean, I don't mind it, but like I'm just kind of like, come on, it's. And it's just kind of it's very cliche Star Wars-y, where they bring in the younger where like an older guy brings in the younger generation of like that version of that character, even though they're not even close to as cool. But like it, and also Fennec Shand hasn't done anything. Fennec Shand is just there. I want to see more Fennec Shand because I liked her in The Mandalorian. I thought she was cool, and I thought she was cool in Bad Batch. But then this, she's just kind of like there. She's just a presence that doesn't do much. And Boba Fett also, it's kind of weird. Boba Fett in this episode, at least, really felt like he was just kind of a void, or he was there. Boba Fett was there because it was his show, and he just had to like walk around for a little while. This episode just felt very meaningless. Oh, and Danny Trejo was in this episode too. that was the one thing.
By the way,
I was like, I'm watching it and I'm like, is that Danny Trejo? Like, that's my thought.
Sully, what were your thoughts on episode 3?
Yeah, I think just before getting into the episode, it's one of those things where I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it's like, people complain about Marvel, Star Wars, like the shows. It's just like you can't keep up anymore because they're just throwing out these projects at you. Like you have the movies and now you have to know the shows just to make sure everything intertwines together. Where it's like when I heard that they were making the Boba Fett show, I almost just went into this like purely thinking of it as like comfort food. Like I never like thought it was going to be as good as The Mandalorian. It was, to me, it's like, okay, they gave me Mando. That's obviously fantastic. They're giving me Boba Fett, which like I think is just going to be like, hey, obviously I loved Boba Fett from the movies and seeing him in Mando. So like this is just going to be an extension of just like, I don't know, just like nerd fantasy type stuff. But it's like holding me over until Kenobi comes out, really. Like I think that's the next pillar that's like really like, okay, that's going to push the envelope of like the Star Wars storytelling and like furthering that character that we love. Like I just view this Boba Fett show as like, this is comfortable. This is Star Wars. Like I like seeing what he's up to. Like I thought the train sequence from the second episode was awesome. But when it comes to this episode, like, yeah, I don't know. Guy pretty much said it. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed in this episode, I just wanted to say one more thing, is you look at Boba Fett in the original trilogy. He's very much kind of like a background character. He's just there to walk around. And when I saw this episode, I felt like it was just Boba Fett from the original. He's just there to walk around and look cool. And when I saw that, I was kind of like, did it really merit a show? And I love Boba Fett. That's the thing. I do love Boba Fett, but at the same time, if you're just going to use him the same way they used him in the original trilogy, you're just showing more shots of him. I just don't think it's really worth the time watching. Yeah.
Well, actually, like you saying that makes me think too, like there might be something to be said. Like, should this guy be the main character of his own show?
Exactly.
Like, was
he
that
feels
part
like a
of
side
the,
guy.
That was like part of the coolness and like the mystique that he was like, we didn't know much about him. He was just this mysterious
but
guy.
But now you do know much. You do know about him, which I don't mind. But he doesn't really have much of a character. Everything kind of seems so. It's weird. It's like the mystery is gone, and it just is this dull, robotic character, and it feels very.
How
weird.
could they make Boba Fett worse? Make a show about it.
It's like that's why it worked so well to have him intertwined with Mando, right? Because it's just like you can still keep him as like he shows up like shadowy
kind of a mentor.
Exactly,
like
he's like
mentor, and even just
doesn't overstay his welcome.
Yeah, I mean they could have just put Tamar Morrison in like multiple shows, and that I think would have satisfied a lot of people if he just popped in, popped out. And this Boba Fett show for me, I think they could have even just done like one one episode thing where they showed his life going through the Sarlacc and all of that. And I think if they just did that for like one episode and it was just Tamar Morrison, that was it. And they did all the Tusken Raider stuff as a recap of Boba Fett and not had to do any of this other schlock. Sorry. But like that's how I feel about it.
You're losing it.
I don't think it's that interesting. I just don't care very much about it. Just but that's my opinion.
No, I agree. I think I almost think they're switching back and forth between flashback and what he's doing with Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
Almost because they know they don't have the most concrete, fleshed out story there. It's like a little half and half each episode.
Yeah.
That they're like, don't have to come to this big grand scheme at the end of the season and you'd still be satisfied. But they knew what they were sitting on. Like everyone was so pumped up just to see more Boba Fett. Like
Boba Fett, he's got the best look in this.
Exactly, dude. Like I was just thinking back to like how excited I was, and everyone was in the first episode of season 2 of Mando, where Timothy Oliphant comes in wearing the armor, and you're like, okay, like I literally cannot wait for next week's episode.
And then at the end of that episode, they show burnt up Tomorrow Morning. You're like, what?
Yeah,
everyone was losing their minds.
Yeah,
God, that was amazing.
Okay, so
Alex,
Helmer, you're up, dude.
My time has come. So,
he's complaining.
Alita Battle Angel, Blade Runner, Pixar's Luca, all projects in which colorful Vespas would fit right into the universe. Tatooine Star Wars is not one of them. This scene has single-handedly ruined this show for me, at least the first 3 episodes, which is a shame because I thought the second episode, I liked it a lot more than most people did. I thought it was great. Let me point out all the many problems of this. Number 1, Stephen Root comes to him, and Stephen Root, he was in Succession for like 2 minutes, and now he's also apparently in Boba Fett for 2 minutes. Walks up to Boba Fett, he's like, "Oh, need some help. These guys."
Oh yeah.
I need money from them.
Too.
I forgot that as well.
It was like, "Oh, these kids robbed me. I need the money back." Boba Fett's like, "Okay." Boba Fett walks over with like his 2 Praetorian guards in Fennec, like there's some sort of crew, and it's like 3 people. He walks over to them like they own the place, and he goes over to them. These kids, who are apparently really scrappy, really like they're dirt ridden, they're on the streets, they're street kids. They turn around. They all have cybernetic transplants, so they obviously could afford those for some reason. That despite the fact that they're poor, they're really clean. One of them I saw had like a tie on, and they're all like wearing different colors. And immediately when I saw them, I'm like, well, they don't fit in. I mean, and I was like, okay, maybe it's just a one scene thing. And then the girl talks to Boba Fett, and she says like one snarky remark to him. She says one thing to him, and then all of a sudden he's like, I need you on my crew. Despite the fact that the only thing he knows about them is that the leader of the gang said a snarky comment to him, and then he's like, okay, I need you on my gang. It's like, what? You've known these people for like 2 seconds.
Well, wait.
Now they're in your gang.
Stephen Root described what pain in the butt they were, so he had some contact.
And also, they do not fit Boba Fett's vibe. Boba Fett wants to be like he wants to rule that part of Tatooine. He wants to be like the new Jabba. Except he wants to rule with respect.
But hold on,
these kids do not fit with the entire vibe of Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's my other problem. The thing about Boba Fett is he's just a simple man trying to make his way around the universe, and now he's a man who wants to plant himself somewhere.
Yeah,
he said the line in Mandalorian.
And they did a good job.
It totally contradicts what he said in Mandalorian.
No, but they did a good job in episode 2 of why he wanted to do that. He has this connection with the Sand People and with the environment of Tatooine. That I understand. But these kids are awful. They don't fit the world. They took me out of the show. I couldn't think properly. The entire show I was thinking, okay, well, are they going to get rid of the kids now? But then they were part of his crew.
And then they had that.
And I was like, hey,
Wookiee,
and the Wookiee doesn't join the crew. The Wookiee. I was expecting once they let go of the Wookiee, Boba Fett's like, okay, you're going to join my crew. But they left him leave.
He just walks off.
He literally just jogged away.
Yeah, and I want to see more of him. I was like, if we get stuck with these kids in the gang,
like Boba Fett. This is what drives me crazy. Boba Fett literally has this amazingly formidable fight with this Wookiee, and just makes him leave. And he doesn't he just has an interaction with these teens and lets them stay. And I'm just like, dude, what is your thought process on running a crime organization? You are awful. I mean, I would think Boba Fett was smart. He's the clone of Jango Fett, but damn,
right?
He's stupid.
I was thinking if we get stuck with these kids in the gang, but in the process we get this Wookiee, then fine. But we got the worst of both. We got the worst.
They add another 2 bounty hunters. I'm good.
They don't fit the world at all. They don't. Maybe Coruscant, maybe that would fit a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they thought that would be a good idea. They're not even dirty. They're all very clean. They're all very they don't look
one
like
looks like Cyborg.
And then, one looks like Cyborg. And again, they shouldn't be able to afford this stuff. And nobody on Tatooine, nobody looks like that. And then it gets worse. If you think it couldn't get worse, it does. Because first of all, this shot is god awful.
It's
so bad. It's really bad. It's like they're trying to make it an epic shot.
The sight of those motorcycles, they totally look like a Hot Wheels thing that they would sell.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
the guy,
just wait guy. It's such a cash grab. That shot for selling toys. They're like, you can have all 4 of Boba Fett's motorcycle crew for a simple price of
But
$39.99. It's just
the
like
thing is, just wait, because now you get to see them in action. You get to see a guy who, by the way, they just mosey into the mayor's office. They do it all the time. He doesn't even have any guards with him. They're just like,
that's
"Do
the
you-
other
do you have
thing.
an
Where
appointment?"
is this
No, you
mayor's
just walk
like
in.
Yeah.
security?
There's
He has the worst security
He's
ever.
got the worst security.
And
They
then-
just leave.
And then when you think the bikers couldn't get worse, then you get the chase scene. Oh my god! So the chase scene, the guy, the mayor's annoying, like whatever, like his representative gets in his little like little minivan equivalent of a speeder.
Yeah.
He goes, and I swear to God, I could have jogged alongside him and caught up to him.
Yeah.
That chase scene, I was like midway through. I'm like, I'm checking my watch. I'm like, so, guy, because I was watching it with two other people, and I was like, are you guys noticing how long this chase is? Like, this should be over, right? And so,
I'm gonna
it went
be
on
honest
forever.
regarding that chase scene. I did. You know how they have the 15-minute, like you can skip 15 seconds off
Yeah.
of something. I kind of
Yeah.
skipped like 30 seconds of
Yeah.
that chase scene. Like I was
And the
really
thing is,
bored.
I went on the internet afterwards. I'm like, I can't be the only one thinking this, right? And I went on the internet, and sure enough, that's exactly what people online were saying. And I was like, thank God, I'm not alone. In
Thank God we're not the only
Yes, yeah.
complainers on the internet.
Yeah. And it's such a departure because again, I loved episode 2. I thought episode 2 was
Episode
really
2
good.
was great. Episode 2 was great.
Yeah. I'm curious. The Rancor thing was the coolest thing in the episode for me. I thought that was really good. And the way Danny Trejo said they scan like the person or whatever.
Yeah.
They like imprint their image in their mind. I thought that was cool. They're definitely setting up Boba Fett to ride the Rancor. Despite the fact that he has a jetpack. So
Yeah, right. It's just cooler.
And they say in the show, I was mad about that earlier because he uses it. He has a jetpack, but he doesn't use it. And then they say in the episode, one of the episodes, oh yeah, the Sarlacc pit. And the Sarlacc pit, like they like kind of like made it not work or something.
But
like,
he used
kind
it in
of, like,
Mandalorian season 2.
No. But that's the thing is, it's like then why even have the jetpack if you're not going to use it? Then just don't have it. It's just extra baggage.
Right. Yeah.
But
it's just weighing you down at that point.
yeah, exactly.
It's a really
Anyways,
heavy baggage.
those
Wait,
are just
I'm confused.
nitpicks, I guess.
Wait, why can't he use the jetpack? The Sarlacc damage?
The Sarlacc pit, like I guess, like destroyed it some way. Like,
But wait, wasn't he in the Mandalorian season 2 flying around with his jetpack?
yeah, that's true.
Stormtroopers?
Yeah, I
What
don't know.
is with
I guess
this
it's just like
plot
a
holes,
passing
man?
of time that he fixed it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe
And
we'll see him
also,
fix it in this.
He fixed
Yeah,
it, and
and
then
I'll-
it broke again. It short circuit.
Yeah,
Did
it's
it
not a
short
good
circuit on the
jetpack.
Slave One? Which,
And then-
speaking of, that's the other thing. We haven't seen any Slave One action in
Yeah.
this show, and
It's
that
actually,
sucks too.
it's not actually called the Slave One anymore.
Oh, come on!
They renamed
I don't
it.
mind-
guys.
I mean,
Boba Fett
I-
Starship.
I just, it's so. Boba Fett Starship.
Dude, it's just
Um,
one of those things where it's like I can recognize when something's like super fan servicey, and like giving the Rancor was super fan servicey, but I was
That
like
was.
all for it. Like I don't even
Yeah.
care. Like 'cause
Yeah, me
I was
too.
like,
At this
The
point,
thing was fan service.
of course they dropped the guy into the pit, and they're like, we're just kidding. There's no Rancor there anymore.
That
And
was
then like
funny.
20 minutes later, they're like, here's a Rancor. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's whatever. But like I totally.
It would be
wanna
really
see him.
funny if that guy was still in the pit.
He has to
And
be
like the
somewhere.
Rancor was just like,
Just
I also
chilling.
find it. I also find it really depressing that so in Return of the Jedi we see Jabba's palace and it's always crowded. There's a ton of people there. You know, it's almost like a party. You know, you have like the dancers and everything. In Boba Fett, it honestly makes
Boba
me
Fett's got
depressed.
two
And he's
Gamorrean
just sitting
guards.
there and there's like nobody there.
There's
But
Yeah,
nothing.
it's like
in
sitting.
there.
It's like
Imagine sitting
Christ.
in like a giant, like imagine sitting in, I don't know, like the biggest palace in the
Yeah.
world. It's like you have your own throne and you have an entire ballroom.
but
to
what, here's
yourself,
what really
and
throws
nobody's
me
there.
off about the show that blows my mind. There is such limited security in this show. Boba Fett only has 2 Gamorrean guards. The mayor has like no security
Yeah, nobody.
whatsoever. It's like, where do you find? Is there like an employment agency that's like out of gas, and like after like the sail barge exploded, every agent on there was on it? Because there's no security whatsoever in this show. It's so weird to me, but that's something that's been throwing me off a lot
Yeah.
lately.
But it-
Helmer, about the palace
Yeah.
being empty, I'll tell you this. What's missing from this show, and this might be like a deep cut, like really showing my Star Wars nerdiness here,
Yeah.
but what's missing is, do you know who Salacious B. Crumb is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the laughing little monkey little thing that just laughs at whatever Jabba says,
Yeah.
like during any of the movies. Like, he needs to find one of those, like immediately, and then I'll be totally
Yeah.
back in on the show.
Yeah, and Boba Fett doesn't seem like, a partier, but at the same time, it's just it makes me depressed. Anyways,
Yeah.
there seems like a limited amount of characters in the show. It's like even when they walk around Tatooine, I guess the budget. It seemed going into the show, it seemed a bit suspicious that they shot this in such a short amount of time, 6 episodes. You didn't really hear anything about it. Nobody really. I feel like there was no buzz surrounding Boba Fett when it came out, other than big Star Wars fans, obviously. So it now makes sense that this was a show that was shot with not a low budget, but low compared to other Star Wars projects, especially The Mandalorian.
You're right, though. The world seems very empty, as we've seen in the first 3 episodes. It's like nothing is happening in the background or outside of what we're seeing directly on the camera.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And so that we're going to end it there. We went a bit overboard on Boba Fett, but we needed to get that out there.
Need to get that out.
It shows how committed we are as fans. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sorry. We're just big fans of Star Wars, and we were disappointed. That's all.
Yeah. Give me Kenobi. That's all I'll say. Give me Kenobi.
Give me Kenobi. That will. That I feel like.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Yeah, I agree.
Got it all there.
That's something we can agree on. Now we're going to move on to our big stories. First, we're going to talk about the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes winners were announced. They did not have a ceremony. It was Sunday.
Oh, they didn't have a ceremony.
They did not.
Yeah, it wasn't televised.
Okay, because like for me, like after the Golden Globes, I was like, wait, Golden Globes?
Yeah, it just came right by.
It like blew my mind. I was like, I didn't know the Golden Globes had happened.
Yeah, I was just like reloading Twitter constantly. But just a recap real quickly. We're gonna go over more about the SAG nominees because that matters more. But for Golden Globes, Power of the Dog won Best Drama. Best Comedy was West Side Story.
Musical or comedy.
A lot of
best
most
comedy.
of it was
like really.
West Side Story musical or comedy. Yeah. Will Smith, King Richard, obviously. Andrew Garfield, Tick Tick Boom, obviously. Good. Rachel Zegler won, which a tiny bit of a surprise. Elena Haim was up there, but still, Rachel Zegler was good. Jane Campion won for director, so cementing the fact that Power of the Dog is the lead dog along with Belfast. Supporting actor Cody Smith McPhee won in a race that is very up and down. Jared Leto got in for SAGs. We're going to talk about that real quick, but that's a category that's kind of a shit show this year. Supporting actress Ariana DeBose won. That's a great category this year.
Good.
She was really good in the movie. And then the big surprise was Best Actress in a Drama, as Nicole Kidman took home the win for Being the Ricardos. Kristen Stewart was she was twice.
I personally was not the biggest fan of that movie. I felt
Being the Ricardos.
Yeah, it was a little slow.
Yeah, a lot of people. Being the Ricardos is. I was talking about it.
I thought she was good in it. I'm not gonna. She actually. She sounded like Lucille Ball.
No, she's good. It's just
she's really good.
Film Twitter hates this movie. A lot of people hate this movie.
It's a good-looking movie. I'm gonna just say, it's a great-looking movie, and she's great in it. But it's not a great movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'm now going to see it. I'm a big Sorkin fan, but I haven't heard great things. Kristen Stewart, obviously,
surprising because it's Sorkin.
Kristen Stewart, the lead, I guess, the top individual people thought were going to win the Oscar. Now maybe it slipped 2, maybe even 3. After this, she did not win the Golden Globe, and she wasn't actually nominated for a SAG either. So we'll see when the Critics' Choice nominees come out. But not looking amazing for Kristen Stewart, looking really good for Nicole Kidman, Jessica Chastain, and Olivia Colman also getting consistent noms. And then also TV-wise, I don't usually talk about TV, but Succession won Best Drama, which is great.
Fantastic.
And then amazing.
Jeremy Strong won over Brian Cox, which was interesting. I love both performances, and it's basically just pick one of the Succession boys. Just pick one of them. You can't go
roll
wrong
the
with
dice.
Them. Yeah. And then Jason Sudeikis and Ted Lasso got a couple wins. I haven't seen Ted Lasso. I really want to see it. It's one of those shows.
I saw the first episode. It's weird. I saw the pilot. I really enjoyed it, but I was busy.
Best Supporting Actor. Oh Young-soo won for Squid Game. He was the old guy in Squid Game. He beat Kieran Culkin. He was great. I just thought Kieran Culkin was much better. I did love him though, but Kieran Culkin, this was his best performance.
Especially since Kieran Culkin's character really grew.
Yeah, this
especially
was
down
his
the
best
stretch.
season.
Like really grew in this season.
The last few episodes were enough for him to win that award.
Exactly. So. That's the thing. Like especially that final one.
Yeah.
Like he really evolved. I think that entire family.
He did the most character growth in the entire
tangent now, but like I do think he deserved that one.
Yeah. Oh, Young-Soo was good though. I mean, I
Yeah.
love
of course.
Succession. We both. I'm assuming Sully watched Succession. Guy I know does.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. I love
But yeah,
Succession.
those are the goal. Before we move on quickly to the SAGs, any final thoughts on the Golden Globe winners?
I mean, happy Garfield won.
Yeah.
Happy that Power of the Dog won.
Happy Will Smith won.
Yeah.
I really liked that movie, and it was a movie I really needed this year. It was just a feel good, upbeat movie.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to the SAG nominees. No, the SAG winners weren't announced, but the nominees were announced. So I'm just going to go over. Let's see, should I go first? Sorry, I'm looking over TV. In TV, Kieran Culkin, Jeremy Strong, and Brian Cox were all nominated. 3 of the 5 slots were taken up by Succession, which is great to see.
Rightfully so.
Still, love all 3. Matthew McFadden, who plays Tom.
Great.
I don't want to say Highway Robbery because, again, these other performances are really good. But Billy Crudup in the morning show, I actually didn't like the performance at all. So I would have replaced him easily with Matthew McFadden. So that's just
give a joint award to Matthew McFadden and Cousin Greg, please.
Yes.
Seriously,
that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a duo. So
Greg the Egg.
So now we're gonna go over the movie stuff for female actor in a supporting role. Not a lot of surprises other than Cate Blanchett in Nightmare Alley. I loved Nightmare Alley. Actually, it was in my top 10 of the year. I was really happy with the nomination. She was one of my standouts in that movie, so really happy with that. Best, we'll save actor in a supporting role because that'll be a big talking point. Female actor in a lead role. This is where Kristen Stewart was actually snubbed, which was a big surprise. Jennifer Hudson got in for Respect, and Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos. Lady Gaga has of Gucci, Olivia Colman, Jessica Chastain. So, did not expect Hudson to get in there, especially over Stewart. And I love Stewart in that movie, so I'm really nervous now that she won't win the Oscar. Yeah. But anyways, male actor in a leading role, not any surprise except for Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos, which was a bit of a controversial nom. I've heard I need to see the movie just to talk about this for context. I just heard his accent wasn't I guess
up to
accurate
snuff, really.
The Cuban accent he was supposed to do. Guy, what were your thoughts quickly on?
I thought he was pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I never really watched. I never watched I Love Lucy, and I never really watched much of Lucille Ball's project, so I don't really know what Desi Arnaz sounds like. I might need to listen again.
Yeah.
But I thought, overall, I thought he was good, but I'll need to check out. I'll need to check out like an interview or something.
And then best actor in a supporting role, we had most of it. Ben Affleck in The Tender Bar, who's actually getting a lot of traction now.
Oh my god, that guy was amazing. Alex, you got to see that.
Yeah, Troy Kotsur and Coda, very good. Probably gonna get the Oscar nom. Cody Smith McPhee, the lead dog right now. Bradley Cooper in Licorice Pizza, an interesting one because he wasn't in the movie for very long. He had maybe
but he played John Peters, and that's hilarious. The fact
he's gonna get in somewhere, but
the fact that he played John Peters is hilarious.
And then Jared Leto for House of Gucci, which is the big
Mr. Snorting Arrabbiata sauce. That guy.
Sully,
I'm sorry, that's not method. That's just dumb.
I know Leto's performance.
Shoving expensive tomato sauce up your nose when you put it in your mouth where it belongs is. I don't agree with that.
That's acting.
I know.
Sully, what were your thoughts quickly? Because I know Leto's performance was a bit polarizing. Where were you on the spectrum about his performance in House of Gucci?
So House of Gucci is one of those few 2020 releases that slipped by me. I wasn't able to see it. I will say though, just because it's a Ridley Scott movie, this will be like my 900th time to say that I am an absolute huge fan of Last Duel. Yeah. And I hope
that was a real firecracker.
It's unbelievable. That was my top movie of 2021. So just going forward, like Oscars, I hope Jodie Comer gets nominated, but that's all I'll say about that topic.
Yeah. No, Last Duel is amazing. That was I think it was like my number 3 of the year. I love that.
Yeah, movie. It's awesome.
And then outstanding performance by a cast, the Ensemble Award, Belfast, Coda. Don't Look Up, I wouldn't have put in there. I didn't think.
I hate Don't Look Up.
I don't like Don't Look Up either, man.
I hate Don't Look Up.
That movie, because for me, movies you're supposed to escape out of like the real world and stuff. So like to me, I was like, God damn it, Don't Look Up.
And
the
then
the problem with Don't Look Up is like it's like one of those things where it seems like it's one of those movies. If you don't like it, anyone that likes it's like, well, you just must not have been able to grasp it. You know, like
But
it's
I know
like
I
one of those,
could grasp. I know
yeah,
what they're talking
me
about.
too. And I just like
it got me depressed. I was just kind
it got
of
me
like,
depressed. I also thought like
I don't want to leave a movie where I'm just like so like sad. And
I didn't think it was depressing because I can watch depressing movies. I just didn't find it funny.
no, I can,
I
but
didn't
like
find it
for
funny.
me, it was just that one. I was just kind of it hit. I don't know.
Every punchline seemed like it was like some improv thing that they should have left on the cutting room floor. Like it seemed like the rough draft. So
yeah, I agree. And then King Richard got in. House of Gucci got in as well, which is another. House of Gucci did well within the SAG nominations, which is surprising. I like House of Gucci.
Hey,
so I think it
the House of Gucci trailer. The House of Gucci trailer.
The trailer, yeah.
That's a great trailer.
It's a good trailer, you know.
But anyways, those were the SAG nominations. House of Gucci winning big here. Possibly again the 10th slot. The 10th slot now in the Best Picture race is kind of wide open. So a movie that everybody hates, either Being the Ricardos and House of Gucci, is probably going to get in. So we shall see. So we're now going to move on to the last big topic. The Batman has officially been rated PG-13. Sully, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think about this news? Does it mean a lot to you? Is it kind of a cause for concern or no?
I just think people shouldn't focus or worry about this as much as it's been buzz on the internet. Like obviously the usual retort that's going to come from someone like me is like the Nolan trilogy was PG-13, obviously, and I'm sure that gets said a lot, but that also should carry some weight.
Yeah, I agree with him. I mean, even in Man of Steel, the man snapped the guy's neck.
Right.
And now it's PG-13.
Yeah, you can still see good, like, gory stuff.
Like, that's the thing. Like, if that was PG-13 and that was PG-13, it's gonna be fine. And the other thing is, I knew this was gonna be PG-13 like way in advance because I'm a big action figure guy. And I saw that like Spin Master, which is a very kiddie toy company, was already starting to sell the Batman action figures. And if this was that serious of a movie, if this was that R-rated of a movie, they would not sell action figures. If you remember, in the 90s, when Batman Returns came out, they wouldn't even release a Penguin figure because it was apparently a Danny DeVito Penguin figure because apparently he was too dark for kids to play with.
Well, I can tell you that. Are they going to release a Riddler figure?
Well, that's the thing. I haven't seen any Riddler figures recently, but like I'm just saying that like if it was, I think it's going to be fine. I don't think people should worry about it. I think it's going to be a great movie. I think it's going to be great, and I don't think anyone should worry.
You deducing that from action figures is like top nerd knowledge. I absolutely
it is. I mean, it's that's the way I think. I mean, when I see an action, if I see a coloring book in a Target with Robert Pattinson's face on it, I'm like, come on, that's gonna be that's
right. But they're also not making any coloring books for The Lighthouse.
Exactly.
You know, like it's like you're not gonna be doing that. No, like I think it's overblown. I understand people saying what the hell just because, you know, how many times have we heard like, oh, there was a test screening of the Batman and like all the audience said like it's grisly and dark detective story.
It's like the Riddler is like horrifying.
Yeah.
And they can pull that. Look at Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger was like, I hate my father.
That is very true. Yeah. Heath Ledger is pretty,
It's don't get worried. I think people get really stressed out about this stuff and they just don't look back on certain movies. I mean,
I will admit I did get worried at first because my mind immediately went to Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
But the difference is
one of the things about
Venom,
Carnage, like say what you will about Carnage, the many criticisms you might have about it. The fact that it's PG-13 hurt
he
the
has
movie
to be
a lot,
R.
in my opinion.
It has to be, but like that's the thing with Carnage or Venom, they're literally cannibals. Like they have to those characters have to be R. With Batman, it's a little different. So like, you know,
but no reason to worry. Would I like it to be R? Yes, but it's not gonna. PG-13 movies. We got The Dark Knight as PG-13. I will also say, Guy actually brought this to my attention first. The score, a snippet from Michael Giacchino's score from the Batman release, and oh my god, it is something else, guys.
It's amazing.
I cannot wait for this movie, and when they play that that score in the movie. I will be convinced nobody
Will you
nobody
stand
in the
up and
theater-
clap, Alex?
No, my pants will be soaking. Whoever's sitting next to me in the theater,
Jesus
move
Christ.
away. Move away. I'll buy 3 tickets and take like 3 chairs.
Yeah, get the
Oh,
2
nobody,
seats.
No.
All right,
Nobody.
here's a question. Do you think the pre-sale ticket mania for the Batman will all compare to what happened with Spider-Man No Way Home?
I actually don't.
I don't
I
think so
it's tough
either.
because you look
I don't think
DC.
so.
I mean, it's really hard, and I feel bad.
Oh,
'cause-
Batman is
question.
Batman, you know?
But that's the
like-
thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think about it like that, and this is I could not believe this, but I really thought about it. This is like the first solo Batman movie in like a decade, which is
Yep.
insane to me. And I think maybe the Batman fans will come out in like a big
I do
way.
think so. Batman within comic book fans and people within the community, I feel like people are very familiar with the character.
People revere the
Batman
character,
is their
love it.
favorite thing ever. Yeah, everybody loves. But I feel like for casual people, for people just on the street,
Yeah.
Spider-Man is, because he's more jokey, he's more relatable. They won't have to go into the movie and worry about a guy taping politicians and killing them.
But who knows?
Like,
Maybe
I-
that might be relatable for some people. you know?
Yeah. That'd be their
Hopefully
thing.
not. Hopefully not. But and again, does that make, again, I'm not condoning people not seeing this movie because it's going to be a great movie. At least
Yeah.
I'm very positive it will be. But yeah, I don't think people just don't love DC as much. And I feel like the
And it
impression of
sucks 'cause,
DC
like, I
making
feel
bad
like
movies
DC
is
should
still.
be given a chance. I mean, you look
Yeah.
at and I know you, Sully, as you said, you didn't like Suicide Squad as much, but I mean, it's a decent movie. I mean, it's a pretty
Yeah.
good movie. And
Yeah.
like, I feel like DC's been making some good output, and I think people should really see like what they're doing now. I like
Yeah.
that they've downscaled it. And I think people would respect them for it.
Well, the good thing about the Suicide Squad is it's like, from a movie making and like comic book standpoint,
So
it's like,
ambitious.
hey, it's also like, hey, we have these weird side characters too. It's not just Marvel. So it's
Exactly,
like, and you can
exactly.
enjoy them as much as you would like a weird, quirky, one-off Marvel character, like
Yeah.
Howard the Duck or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Speaking of which,
anyway,
I want my Howard the Duck.
And I want that Howard the Duck.
I want
movie.
that Howard the Duck. Like,
It's happening.
I know. Kevin Smith was originally going to make a Howard the Duck show for Hulu, but they just
but
canceled
anyways,
that, so.
we're gonna
Well, I
move
think-
on.
No,
Sorry,
we
go
can
ahead.
go.
We'll
I
see.
don't want to
You're
take
gonna-
up too
okay.
much time.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna move on to the brief. We talked a lot about TV, movies, big news. Now we're gonna go through a brief 3 topics for buy or sell, and we're just gonna talk about 3 smaller topics within the world of movies in the last week. We're gonna talk about if we would buy those topics or sell those topics. Now, first topic we're gonna talk about is the first image of the Batgirl movie coming
Yes.
to us all on HBO Max has released. I'm
right.
forgetting the name of the actress, but she posted it.
Leslie Grace.
Leslie Grace. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Guy, I know you want to talk about this. What are your thoughts on the image?
I love this suit. I love this suit because this is from one of my favorite Batgirl runs in the comics. It's from Burnside. And I just love it. I think it looks cool. It's comic accurate. There's like very small details that I'm like, because I'm a nerd. So I'm just like, that's not right. But I love it. I think it looks awesome. And the way it looks really gets me excited for the vibe of the movie.
Sully, what are your thoughts? Are you excited for the Batgirl movie? Does this I guess it's just a picture, but does it do anything for your excitement?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the movie. I'm definitely going to watch it. I think it's one of those things where my excitement has risen with how little people on the internet are showing support for this movie. Like, I almost am like,
No, same here. Yeah.
like I'm backing it more. I'm like, I really think it's completely overblown that like people are like, this is going to be total shit.
Yeah.
I think the suit looks good. It looks sleek. I also can't ignore the rumors that I really want Dylan O'Brien as Nightwing.
Oh my God, that just came out. I just saw that stuff.
So I
Oh.
would love to see that. So I mean, that's just like all those things culminating. I really like Dylan O'Brien.
He was
I
in
also really liked his movie last year with Love and Monsters. I thought that was a surprisingly really good movie. So yeah, I mean, I like the suit. I'm gonna watch the movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it actually turns out.
I am nervous. If this movie was going to theaters and it wasn't going to be a straight to HBO Max release, I would be more excited for it. but because they announced it so early on, it's not like 2 weeks before the movie where it's like a
I hope he
COVID
has
thing.
a Peacemaker budget. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Seriously.
I want it to have a
But Brendan
Peacemaker.
Fraser is the Firefly. I love Brendan Fraser.
We're not
The
sure what
Firefly's
he's
cool
playing. I
casting.
don't know if he's playing
Oh my
Firefly.
god, guy, you
I'm
and your
sorry. I think he might.
conspiracy
He thinks he's playing
theories.
Firefly. I think he might be playing Mr. Freeze. Like it's
And
Oh my
And,
god, I would love a Mr. Freeze by him.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's so cool.
too bad it's not happening. 'Cause he's
Oh, come on, man.
You and your conspiracy theories, guy. He's playing Firefly. He's listed as Firefly. He's playing Firefly.
Hey, but
And by the way, if he's not Firefly, I'm not setting myself up for disappointment, eh? I'm
Hey,
expecting
guy
Firefly.
must have seen an action figure of Mr. Freeze somewhere or something. That's giving him the inside scoop, you know.
If you look at the semantics of Brendan Fraser's face, he must be playing Mr. Freeze. If you look at it and you analyze it.
I mean, his hair is thin, and like I could imagine him just shaving it all the way and just putting the glass,
Whatever,
like doing like a
then-
Batman the Animated Series.
We
look.
at least we know that Michael Keaton will be reprising his role as the Batman in this movie as well, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Because we're not just going to be seeing him in the Flash, we're going to be seeing.
And there was a photo that came out with the Batman suit.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Which,
But
I didn't see that one yet.
in regards to the suit, it's comic accurate, which is cool.
but
I
it's
can't
not
judge it
Keaton
too much.
accurate. It's not Keaton accurate.
I can't judge it too much without knowing what the movie is about and the tone they're going for. If they're going for more gritty, then this suit I don't think works. It almost looks like a bit CW, but I guess
I was gonna
Like,
say
I
this
wish
Just
one's
it's
like
very
the leather
showy.
suit and the zipper and everything.
I would have preferred
get
more of
that.
a Robert
Very
Pattinson,
Flash.
more like Robert Pattinson's
Season
suit
one.
looks more like, I guess, the Arkham Knight suit, where it's more like metal. It looks like sharp.
Well,
I wish that had more of a like a techie look to it.
Do you wish
I
it was
think-
like Batgirl from the Arkham series?
It's the Batman from the Arkham's. Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do. Yes. Now I'm
Yes.
remembering it. Yeah.
I think what's throwing people off a little bit is just like that splash of super bright gold color under the cape. Like that, it really makes you
Yeah,
pop.
I get that, but that is from. I mean, I understand why people might not like that.
I just
but
think like
I
less
understand the choice.
people that aren't massive like comic fans, they're like any Batman related universe character should just be like, I can't even see them in the night. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
But are we? I'm gonna buy this. Are you
I'm
guys gonna buy this?
Yeah, I'm buying it.
Buy.
Buying it. All right, let's move on now to the next piece of news. Gal Gadot will be starring in a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's
All right.
To Catch a Thief. I will go first because if you know me for a long time, you know I'm a huge Hitchcock fan. If you look at the track record of remakes of Alfred Hitchcock movies, they're really bad. Of course, the most famous one being the remake of Psycho. You also have the remake of Rebecca that came out like I want to say 2019 that nobody cared about.
Terrible.
Like remake.
Terrible.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's don't see it.
Army Hammer's in it, so that's just another one of the
Right.
reasons you might want to skip that one. But
Wait, which
Uh,
one? Which movie?
Rebecca, it's a remake of Hitchcock's Rebecca.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about Gal Gadot and Army Hammer and Death on the Nile. It's like,
No, not today, my friend.
not today. Not today.
But there also there have been a couple Rear Window kind of ripoffs, like Woman on the Window. This is
Yeah.
very good. When you look at there were some other ones. Dial M for Murder. There was one called A Perfect Murder with Michael Douglas. That wasn't very good. So when you just look at the track record, it's not looking great for this movie. It might be good. But I mean, I'm gonna sell this. Could be good, but probably not.
Well, Helmer, I'm gonna cut in for 1 second and just say when we're talking about Hitchcock remakes, the only one I'll say that can stand on its own 2 feet, it might just be like my younger self comfort food talking, is the loose Rear Window remake in Shia LaBeouf's Disturbia. I'm a big Disturbia guy.
I haven't seen it.
You got you've seen
I heard it's
Disturbia.
great. I heard it's
I've not
Oh,
seen it.
you guys gotta watch.
Sorry.
it.
now I need
It's
to see
like-
it.
It's like Rear Window, but instead of him being stuck in the wheelchair, like looking out the window, he's under house arrest, and he like thinks a murderer lives next door to him.
Oh.
It's good. It's very
Oh,
good.
wow.
It's like very early 2000s, like angsty, but it's good. But yeah, about this, I'm like selling this instantly. I don't even need to know who's behind it. Like a
Yeah.
Hitchcock remake shouldn't even be a sentence that we say. Like it should just be like leave it as the original Hitchcock. That's all
Yeah.
really I think about it.
I agree with that. I just hate remakes.
Yeah.
I just don't like remakes, so I'm just gonna sell it. I don't. Whenever a remake happens, it's never as good as like
Gal,
sometimes.
Gal,
Never as good.
Gal Gadot has a ton of upcoming projects, and this is the one. Like the Cleopatra.
Well, I like
one
Gal
looks
Gadot,
amazing.
but like I just don't
This is-
like. I don't care. I don't care about.
We'll see.
Remake.
We'll see. We'll get like because Death on the Nile is a similar like murder type movie. Maybe,
And that
maybe,
also, in a sense,
it'll-
is a remake, but
Right.
Yeah.
you know they're doing kind of a series with this specific Poirot. I watched a lot of that show, the Poirot show. So like, but I'm intrigued by that one.
Yeah.
When it
But
comes to like future installment of murder mysteries, though, like I'd sell, Death on the Nile and just buy any shares I can of Knives Out sequels.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You've seen the story before, and you might have even.
Wait,
it might
Knives
even
Out 2 this year.
I think it is this year. It's been like very hush hush.
What?
Knives Out 2.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
Yes,
like
it is
Netflix
2022.
Netflix bought the rights, so
They
like
bought
they've
them
been
for like
keeping
100.
tons of money. I think they signed on Craig to do like 3 of them.
Usually going straight to Netflix isn't like the best
Yep.
sign, but here it's
Yeah.
it's a great sign.
Here
The
it's
cast already
amazing.
looks great for the
Yeah,
next one.
it does.
Sorry, I derailed us there, but
No,
Yeah,
that was a
fine, because
great-
that's a good
yeah,
topic.
yeah,
That's
it's a
what
good
we
topic.
were talking about, man.
But now we're gonna go to our last topic now, as Rooney Mara will be playing Audrey Hepburn in a biopic. Audrey Hepburn has kind of a big fandom online, which is rare for a lot of people who are figures who are iconic, like in that
And
era.
gone for quite a bit.
I'm one of those people. Audrey Hepburn is one of my idols. I love her, and so this casting could have gone a lot of ways. It could have gotten people really angry. It could have gotten people really happy. And I'm happy with the casting. In terms of the look, Rooney Mara looks like Audrey Hepburn. I mean, you can see from the photo, she definitely does. She's a great actress as well. She's a very transformative actress. Girl with the dragon tattoo just shows her range.
Yeah.
And so Audrey Hepburn also has she's a very unique voice, a very unique mannerisms, and I feel like Rooney Mara can pull that off. So I'm going to buy this. I'm just going to buy it at full price. Not even going to have to go on. Maybe like speaking of which, To Catch a Thief maybe on sale. I might buy it on sale.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
a budget find.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe like 90% off. I don't know, like stores
Black
going out of
Friday
business.
type
Yeah.
stuff.
But I'm gonna buy this full price, guy.
I'm gonna buy it. Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm very intrigued by this movie, and I also love that casting. I'm like, wow, Rooney Mara looks like Audrey Hepburn. I was looking, I was like, that's gonna work, and I'm excited for it. Bye.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying this as well. Even just from the sheer fact that Rooney Mara has never disappointed me in a movie.
Exactly.
So I have no reason to believe that streak is going to end with her portrayal of Audrey Hepburn. So I'm definitely buying this.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So that is going to end it, folks. We had a ton of news, a kind of great stuff to talk
Great
about.
show.
Sully, before we leave, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram or YouTube at Sully Streams.
Great. And thank you all for being here. We should be back to you next week. Some great news to talk about. Sully, again, thanks for being here. Guy, I'm sorry, real quickly, Guy, I forgot to let you plug your stuff.
Fine. You can find me at addict_Lego Figs, as well as on Letterboxd addict_Lego Figs.
You big Lego guy?
Yeah.
I'm putting the finishing touches on the Slave 1 downstairs. Actually.
Oh, nice. I have the Daily
Let's
Bugle.
go.
I love that. I love that.
Me.
So when Guy was talking about the Slave One not being in the show, you were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I got it right here." If
Exactly.
you
I
pulled it
was
up right
like,
behind you,
I have it. I don't
Dude,
need it
if
in
you-
the show. I have it.
dude, if you had it right behind you, oh my god.
That
That
would've been
would've
awesome.
Yeah, should have got it wheeled in.
Yeah.
And then also, Guy, YouTube as well. I put your link in the description.
Oh yeah. I have a
Check you out
YouTube now. I show off my custom figures. And also, I think it's Addict Space or Addict Underscore. It's one or the other. Just look it up. I don't think underscores count very often. No offense to the underscore community. All right.
They're pissed right now.
I'm part of the underscore community.
Take that personally.
I am an ally of the underscore community.
But thank you all for being here. Should be back to you next week. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy your week, everyone, and ciao.